Hello, Rotarians and guests. Come on in. Welcome. We're going to get started, folks. Hello, all. Welcome to the Rotary Club of San Jose and meeting number 5,518. Going to have a great meeting today. Yes, welcome, everyone. My name is Matt Breaker, and I have the honor and privilege of leading our meetings in our club this year. So I want to welcome everyone to our Wednesday show. We've got a good day planned for you. So thank you, everyone, for coming. I want to start off by saying thank you to our greeting line, which was our fabulous Rotary Book Club, which is led by Arthur Weisbrot. Yeah, let's show a little love to the book club. Yes, and there's the fabulous Arthur. Arthur, what book are we currently reading in the book club?
The Professor and the Madman by Simon Winchester.
Excellent choice. I've read it a long time ago. President of the foundation, Audrey, recommended it to me, so very good. Okay, when does the book club meet?
Second Monday of the month, and Double D Sports Grill in Los Gatos. We have a private room. We're really not the book club. We're the music club. We have some outstanding musicians, and we have concerts every time we meet.
Oh, I love it. Arthur, you've done a fabulous job. The book club is thriving. I hear from many people. They really enjoy it. I hope to be able to participate sometime. I've got a challenge coin for you, which we're giving out to all our great Rotary leaders, and people are doing great things for Rotary. So thank you, Arthur, for your great leadership in that committee. Yeah, let's show some love to Arthur. Now, I do want to say this. Well, come now, Arthur. I don't know if you folks remember this. We're trying to get going here, folks. I don't know if you folks remember, but a few months ago, I put up a picture of Steve Ellenberg, and I was pointing out that this was in a magazine where he was named one of the top lawyers, along with past President Jay Ross, and I was recognizing them for that great accomplishment and pointing out that Jay Ross clearly had his pin on, and then I raised the question about whether or not Steve was wearing his pin, and I gently called for a little investigation, and you may remember this. Steve responded, him sanctioning.
I remember him sanctioning you.
Yeah,
Did you ever pay that sanction?
I may have to ask them to take the mic away from you in a moment. So Steve stormed the stage, declared it a great injustice, and then all of a sudden, I started hearing from the audience someone yelling out, "Fine him, you deserve to be fined," and sort of leading this chorus, insisting that I impose a self-fine. And I looked down, and who was leading this but you, Arthur?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
did you pay the fine?
Of course I paid the fine. So with that backstory, I simply tell you that when I got my email, in my email box this past week, a little email that said, "Missing something?" ? And I opened it up, and lo and behold, where is this picture? Let's get to the picture. Lo and behold, there you are, Arthur.
That's me at the Club Med in Bali.
Yeah, it looks like you're having a grand time. You've got a big smile. You're participating. You've got the shirt on and everything. But, you know, I'm guided by our principles. Is it fair to all? You're not wearing the pin, are you, Arthur? Folks,
ladies and gentlemen, if you were at the Club Med in Bali, would you be wearing your Rotary pin?
Of course we would. I'm sorry, we're doing it. You're a great sport, Arthur. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And usually it pains me to find the folks, but I'm sorry, not today. I enjoyed it. Sorry. Okay, let's get back to business. Traveling mics today. We've got Mary Fuller and Dora Padilla. Mary, where are you? Where's Mary?
I'm right here.
Oh, of course you are. We just introduced you last week. Had some fun. Learned that you're the dean of the Lincoln Law School and other. You had a job at, is it the PTA? Or what was the name of it?
Yeah, I'm the dean of Lincoln Law School. And do you know who my sponsor was?
Exactly. It was Arthur Weisbrot. Yes.
Arthur Weisbrot, the judge.
Yes.
That's right.
Excellent. Well, you're on the microphone today. And Dora, you're as well. And now, Dora, your sponsor is whom?
My son Jonathan Padilla.
Wonderful, yes.
And Racing Castaneda.
Oh, that is terrific. Well, great to see you both on the microphones today. Let's do guest introductions. Rotarians with guests, please stand up. We'll get the microphone to you for some formal introductions. And since I've been guilty previously of not doing introductions when I bring a guest, I'm going to start right over here with my guest today, who's with Terry Chapman over there. We're going to go right over here with the microphone. We don't need a microphone because I'm doing the talking. It is the fabulous Aaron Salazar. For you folks who do not know, Aaron is the founder and director of Local Color. If you like any of the public art, if you love what's being done downtown with public art, with murals and other things, she's the one who's making that all happen, and she is going to be our keynote speaker in the end of June. She's fabulous. Please welcome Aaron Salazar as my guest today. Let's get going. I think we have Emily Robin in the back. Do we not? Or I'll follow the microphone. Someone with a microphone, please raise your hand. Randy Zeckman, take it away.
Mr. Breaker, thanks for having us. Randy Zeckman, Clean Solar and Clean Roofing. My guest today is the head of school from Notre Dame, Ashley Ray Mathis.
Wonderful. Well, welcome.
Domers. I'm a Domer right here. We must meet.
Where are we? Someone raise their hand wherever the microphone is. Here we go. Steve, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Steve Preminger, a proud member of the Rod Squad. I want to introduce my two guests. One is Father John Pettigo. He had a pact, stand up and then sit down quickly. No sermonizing. And the other is retired Superior Court Judge Erica Yu, who also happens to be the new executive director of the American Leadership Forum.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Right up our alley. Suzanne St. John Crane. Terrific. Emily, there we go.
Hi there, I'm Emily Robin. My sponsors are Mike Conniff and Steve Borkenhagen. I'm very excited about my guest today. This is my Aunt Nancy visiting me from Baltimore. She's just here just because she likes us and just wants to visit.
Well, welcome. That's great. Fabulous Kimberly Mulcahy right here.
Hi, President. I'm Matt, and I am part of the Rod Squad too, and it definitely holds a different meaning at this moment where, yes, for all of us. My guest today is Michael Skates, and he is I keep saying new, although he's almost been there a year, President and CEO of Momentum Health. So, first Rotary meeting too.
Thank you. Bunny.
Hi, President Matt. Bunny Layden. My sponsors are Dick Conniff and James Williams. And my guest today is audio restoration engineer and husband, Glenn Gould.
Oh, a familiar guest. Welcome back. Nice to see you. Here we go. Roger, hello.
Mr. President, Roger Mylock, Government Management Auditing. My guest today is Tom Fahrenholtz, the former Assistant District Attorney of the County of Santa Clara.
There you go, Tom Fahrenholtz. Hello. Okay. Is that Rachel? My glasses are not on.
Yes, it is. Rachel Thomas. My sponsor is Norm Holberg, and this is not my guest today. It's all of our guests today, and I have not been acquainted with the gentleman to my left, but he's a guest from India, so I'll let him introduce himself.
Wonderful.
I am Jain, past President Rotary Club Jalandhar Central, District 3070. I am from India. Today, I am come here to attend your meeting.
Well, we're so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Welcome. Jeremy, soon to be on the stage.
Hi, thank you, President Matt. I'm Jeremy Shapiro. My sponsors are Megan Fluke and Matt Robin. I have some wonderful guests here today for my introduction. Of course, my wife, Emily Randall. We also have Jen Cretella, Ginny Brossenbreck, Greg Grothaus, Jackie and Rob Mardell, my brother, Jody Shapiro. We also have Sheldon Gilbert, and Larry, who's not my guest, but is a wonderful Rotary fan that has made me feel so welcome. So, thank
terrific. You. Well, that's great. Well, welcome all. The great Mike Fulton. Take it away, Mike.
President Matt, my sponsor was the Shirley Lewis.
There you go.
Hey.
Right to the top, yes.
And I have a guest here today. Please meet Lee Mai. Lee is a relationship manager in business banking with Comerica Bank right here in downtown San Jose. Thinking about joining Rotary, her first meeting.
I love it. Well, welcome. We got a good one for you. Thanks for being here. I think I see Catherine in the back there. Is that where the microphone's headed? Or actually, let's do Catherine first, then we'll come to Gary.
President Matt, it's Catherine Tomkison. My sponsors were Norm Klein and Rod Dearden, Sr. I have two guests with me today. I'm so honored to have them join us. First, this is Vanessa Hatakeyama. She is the executive director of the Japanese American History Museum in Japantown. And to my right, this is Jen Masuda, and she is the executive director of the UI Kai Senior Center in Japantown.
Past President Gary.
President Matt, my sponsors were Barry Christina and Al Moore. It's my pleasure today to introduce Skip Franich's wife, Nancy, and one of his sons, Brendan.
So glad you're here today.
President
Megan,
Matt,
hello.
My name is Megan Fluke. I'm happy to say I have 3 friends with me today on tax day. A little less money in my account, but my heart is full. First off, Jenny Nicholas, a former Rotarian member for 10 plus years. Let's get her back. Say hi. She's a longtime leader in the nonprofit sector, an exceptional facilitator and coach, and currently the Chief Facilitation Officer for ALF Insights for the American Leadership Forum in Silicon Valley. Next up, my neighbor, Judy Davis. Feel free to stand up if you'd like to say hi. She is from the Grass Valley South Rotary Club, and she's looking to transfer.
Oh, there
Be
you go.
nice.
Music to our ears.
And then, last but not least, Amari Thomas, a soul sister and fellow light worker, to get a little woo-woo. She is living life to the fullest in the villages and exploring art in all of its forms. She is a former Rotarian of 10 years. Let's get her back.
Yeah.
And I'll close with just saying that my sponsor, I couldn't say it in the beginning or I'd cry. My sponsor is Rod Deardon Sr. There was a beautiful tribute to him yesterday that the county did. It's 45 minutes on video. I really encourage everybody to watch it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
I have one more.
Yes, Mary, take it away.
And Veronica. This is Veronica Zay. Veronica is the project manager at Lincoln Law School, and she's getting married in August.
Oh, muzzle tov. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you to all the guests for coming today, and thank you, Rotarians, for bringing them and introducing them to Rotary. We've got a good meeting. But we're going to start off our meeting today with remembering the wonderful Skip Franich. And past President Gary is going to say some words. But before he starts, I just want to say on a personal note, I had the pleasure of spending a day with Skip out on the golf course many years ago. And I think anyone who met him knows he was just an absolutely delightful, warm, friendly, engaging man, and represented really the best of Rotary. And he's missed. So you're all in our thoughts and prayers. And with that, let's welcome past President Gary.
Somebody recently just told me that people should put their fork down during the eulogy. It's not me, but anyway, I'll give you that comment and thank you. I won't mention his name. Mark Franich, better known to us and everyone else as Skip, was born in 1943 in New London, Connecticut. Skip was raised in Watsonville, California, was a boarding student at Bellarmine, Go Bells, and graduated from Bellarmine in 1961. He earned his undergraduate degree, MBA, and law degrees from Stanford University. Skip practiced law in Santa Clara County for over 50 years. He was a preeminent estate planning attorney and someone I called upon for advice many times. Skip was active in the community. He was president of the Bellarmine Dads Club, president of the Santa Clara County Estate Planning Council, and on the board of Salvation Army, to name just a few. Skip joined Rotary in 1986. He was an endowment fellow, a Paul Harris fellow, and our president in 2003-2004. Skip never missed a Bellarmine or Stanford athletic event in I don't know how many years. Skip loved golf, and his favorite salutation was, "Keep swinging." He is survived by his wife Nancy and 2 sons, Brendan and Darren, and their families. Rest in peace, my friend, and keep swinging.
Skip Vranich. May his memory be a blessing. Okay. We will transition now to something a little more lighthearted. I want to give folks an update. We had the blind wine tasting this past week at Bert George's Wine Shop, and we had about 50 Rotarians out there. It was a wonderful event, as it has been every year since it started. The money that is raised from that goes to the Bert George Foundation. It's doing great work out in the community in the area of mental health. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't been, I say keep your ears open for it next year. It's a great event. Here are some photos from it. I like this one here. We got a team of folks in their specially equipped outfits, looking like very official with the sniffing and the whatnot, and their names on the back, so that was fun. So thanks to everyone who helped make that a success. That was led by our Culinary and Hospitality Committee, so thank you to them. Also, I've been trying to get some photos from the RILA Rotorship Youth Leadership Academy camp, because we had that a few weeks ago. Our RILA committee is previously led by Dave Peterson, now by Steve Preminger, and we send kids off, it's a couple hundred kids. They go to this leadership camp. We sponsor about 5 kids. We have about 5 schools, so 1 kid from each school. It's a great event, building leaders and getting Rotary in their blood. So just one other thing that our club's doing out in the community. So thanks to them for that. Now it is time for, we got time for some blue badge presentations, as we know. That's when folks have completed their 1 year of being a red badge member. So I'm going to invite the folks up here. We're going to swap out their red badge for the blue badge, official lifetime membership there. And we're going to get them we're giving all blue badgers a Rotary hat. Hope to see it if you don't have a cowboy hat at the barbecue on the 13th. Let's start welcoming them up here. Paula Ball, take it away. Show some love to Paula. We'll do a group photo over here, so stick around. There you go. Thank you. Of course. Got your hat. Okay. Okay. Nick Campo, come on down.
Thank you, sir.
You have to close the deal with Paula.
That's right.
Okay, let's get the photos right here. Milan Valentin, here we go. The one and only. Swap it out. Thank you. Okay, and I want to get the photos. Here we go. Jonathan Padilla, come on up, JP. Here we go. Show some love to JP here. And Brian Kimball, here we go. Show some love to Brian, folks. Talk amongst yourselves, group photo time. Here we go. All righty. Full-fledged blue badge members. Let's give a nice warm welcome. Yes. Okay, it seems these things go right hand in hand. We go from the blue badge 1 year completed to talking about new members, and we've got time for a new member introduction. Today, we've got Jeremy Shapiro coming up here. Jeremy's sponsors were the fabulous Megan Fluke and Matt Robin. Welcome on stage if you'd like. Come on up. Yes, absolutely. So, as I've said before, we'll say again here, we've got some fun facts, and let me just say, take a moment to read them. They are fun and interesting facts about Jeremy. Full bio is in the lobby. It's on the bulletin. It's in social media. I encourage you all to read it and get to know more about Jeremy's background. But as we've done, we're about 15, 20 minutes into our meeting. Seems like a perfect time to get up and stretch. Let's all get up for our little get-to-know-you game here. For those of you who haven't been here before, to get to know our new members a little bit better and create some connections, we've been playing this either-or game. I'm going to ask Jeremy a series of either-or questions. If you have the same answer, remain standing because you've got something in common. If you don't, take a seat, but keep listening because you may have other things in common, and we'll see what number of people have a few things in common with him. So let's get going. Please, are you ready, Jeremy?
I am ready.
Okay. Now, I preface this with Jeremy is an extrovert, and he loves the outdoors, and he's an adrenaline junkie, so that may be a slight theme to some of the questions here. Okay, so, but we don't want to shrink the crowd too quickly, so there is some logic here. First question, would you rather sleep under the stars or stay at a 5-star hotel?
I might lose some of the room here, but I'm going to go with under the stars.
Okay, I figured, yeah. I could have identified about half these 5 stars, starting with our foundation president over there. Just a little fun with the sister. Okay, next question. Would you rather cook the meal at home yourself or make reservations and go out?
I do love to cook a good meal.
Okay, so chefs remain standing. Okay, let's go with this one. Would you rather go skydiving or read a book on the beach? Skydiving or book reading on the beach?
See, that second part was like a touch too specific. I do love a good book, but I do not enjoy the beach, so I'm going to have to go with skydiving.
Okay, let's see what we got here. I like it. This is our number, the adventurous thrill seekers. If you are still standing, please go up at the end of this meeting to introduce yourself to Jeremy. He's seated right over here. Make a connection, invite him to sit at your table, talk to him about your committees. And with that, can I have everyone stand up and give our usual Rotary warm welcome? Please.
Thank you, and thank you, President Matt. Also, a thank you to Megan and Matt for making this possible. I've heard wonderful things about Rotary for so many years, and it's been so important to our family and our community, and I appreciate you guys making this all possible.
Well, thank you so much. Let's get a photo. Did we get a photo here? Did we get a photo? We'll get a photo of you guys. Okay. Did we get a photo? No photo. Oh, let's get a photo. Matt, come on up. Here we go.
Sorry. Jump in here, Presidente.
I will. Talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. All right. Jeremy, you've jumped right in. You've been on multiple committees, getting fully involved. That's the way to do it. That's the way to get involved, and inspiring other red badges with that. You're going to be a fabulous Rotarian, already are. So let's see. It's that time we do this once a month. We get to have a little fun and share some good news. That's right. It's time for Ring the Bell. If you've got some good... We'll get that volume right at some point. If you've got some good news or some other information you'd like to share, stand up. We'll get the microphone to you. $100 a ring, and money goes into our endowment. Turnaround comes back out to the community. So you're doing good by sharing good. So take it away, Bill.
President Matt, I am very excited to announce that my son is starting at the Culinary Institute of America in Napa next week. So I'm
Fabulous.
excited. Yes.
I love it. There we go. Great news. You'll be eating well.
President Matt, Rick
Hello, Rick.
Alpers.
Yes.
$100, and I want to thank John Ball for all the work he's done at the Rotary Play Garden and for our barbecue committee. He's been tireless, and thank you, John.
Amen. Yes. Could not, absolutely. And we're going to get a full update on April 29th from John Ball about what's going on and what he's been leading and what's been happening there. So mark your calendar for that. That's going to be good. Randy, take it away.
Mr. Breaker, I'd like to ring the bell twice for 2 fun things that happened last month in the Zeckman household. It was a good month. Seemed only appropriate, since my guest is the head of school at Notre Dame, that my youngest daughter in 8th grade got into Notre Dame, her first choice for high school.
Fabulous.
That's one ring. My second ring is for my older daughter, who is graduating Notre Dame this year and found out last month that she's going to Cal Poly, her first choice of colleges.
Love it. Great news. And folks, Randy this year, fabulous Rotarian, he's been leading up our exchange student program, which is, so we'll hear more about that later. But I want to say thank you to him. And Randy, I've got a challenge point since there's no greeting line for you guys, but I want to say thank you for your great leadership on that. I will deliver that to you at the end of the meeting, but that's an important part of our club, and Randy's taken the helm on that, so I appreciate that, as we all should. Here we go. Take it away.
We're going to ring the bell 3 times, actually. First one's going to be for Doug, because we're going to work together doing Whiskey in the Park. So it's bell number 1. I have Kimberly and Marianne in here somewhere. We're going to also do the another bell for the Studio 54, which we're also going to be a part of. And then we're also going to do one because I'm going to launch the first ever alcoholic boba. So come and try it.
That could be Randy's area also. Jose, I love it. 3 rings. There we go. Emily.
Hi, all. It's Emily Robin here again for my monthly installment. Just ringing a bell once because I like ringing the bell, knowing that my $100 is going to the foundation that does amazing work. I don't have really anything specific. I just really want to ring the bell one time.
That is what makes you amazing. I like clockwork. It's so appreciative, doing great work. Thank you, Emily. Past President Bryan.
President Matt, I've got a few rings. This is going to cost me a little something, but it all ties back to Bellarmine. First, in memory of Skip Franich, who was a dear friend, a sweet man, and was my co-sponsor who brought me in 2004. Nancy, his wife, was very involved at Bellarmine, the president of the Mothers Guild. Both their sons are Bell alums. So 4 rings for the Franich family. And I also, now that Ashley Ray is here from our sister school, Notre Dame High School, Bellarmine, and Santa Clara University all celebrate 175 years this year.
Wonderful,
And
wonderful.
also want folks to know that on May 9th, Bellarmine will be holding an event called Bellapalooza. It's going to be a community festival free on campus from 3 to 7 to celebrate Bellarmine's 175th. You're all invited. I hope you'll be there. And again, congratulations to Notre Dame High School and Santa Clara University as well. So 5 rings total, please.
Thank you so much, Past President Bryan. Okay.
Hi, President Matt.
Hello.
I have a confession. At the gala, I did not wear my pin.
Ooh, come on now.
However, so I want to ring the bell once for that, but I'd like to challenge all the other women in the room who also were not wearing their pins to stand up and ring the bell.
I like it. Okay. There were some pins missing that day, but wow, that was a knockout event. So right over here. Mr. Prouty, hello.
Well, I don't think this will be the last time that this is done, but I want to ring the bell 10 times for our past president, greatest recruiter for this club, Rod Deardown.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Hi, President Matt. Teresa Alvarado. I am a working stiff again. So as of a week ago Monday, I am really excited to have joined the team at XL Construction, which a year ago merged with a Canadian company named Graham. We have offices in Seattle and Denver and Southern Cal, and I'm the VP of Communications and Marketing. So happy to be
news. Thank
working
you for
again.
sharing. That's great. Hello, Chuck.
Oh, it's me.
It is.
Hi, I'm Chuck Cantrell. Thank you, President Matt. I want to ring the bell for something very special. My youngest and beautiful son, Chip, is marrying a wonderful young woman named Niti next weekend, and I just could not be happier.
Oh, that's wonderful. Mazel tov to them. Thank you for sharing that great news.
My turn. Good afternoon. Is that good afternoon?
Yes.
My name is Nina Liu. I'm an Omer James secretary, and he has good news. His granddaughter is Cameron John, and will be graduated next month and also get an offer job in Silicon Valley. So he's from India. Today's the first time joining this club. But he's an old member in India as this club member.
Wonderful.
So I'm just a speaker for him.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. That's
Okay.
terrific. One ring. Here we go. Tim, hello.
One ring for all the Rotarians who signed up to join the tour of the Ira F. Brilliant Center for Beethoven Studies immediately following the lunch
I
today.
love it. Great work. Okay, yes. Elizabeth, hello.
President Matt, I'd like to ring the bell for Bert George and his wonderful hosting, plus all the participants of the blind wine tasting at his shop last week, and every single one of the great culinary and hospitality committee who all made this an event that should be even bigger next year.
Absolutely. It was a great event, so thank you. And thank you, Bert. Absolutely. Always fabulous. Let's go rapid fire if we could. Take it away, Karen Fox.
Hi, President Matt. I'm Karen Fox, and I'd like to ring the bell one time for Rod Deardan Sr. In remembrance and gratitude of his service to our club and our community.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Sarah Klish.
Rising to Melody's challenge, I was not wearing my pin at the gala.
I love it. Well, I love part of it. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, Nick, hello.
Thank
Congratulations.
You, President Matt. I'd like to ring the bell one time for Carlin Eaton, who is a staff member of ours that sadly passed away last week. She's just a bright light and will be dearly missed. So I want to acknowledge her.
Thank you.
I also want to ring the bell one time for my daughters who were accepted into NCL, National Charity League. Really
Love
proud
it.
of that. Thank you.
Terrific. Great news there. 2 rings. Fabulous, Bert George.
Well, I want to thank everybody that participated last week. I want to thank the committee for putting this on. Elaine, Elizabeth, thank you so much. A couple things that weren't mentioned. We raised over $11,000 for Washington School, which was the key. And the winners that night were Dave Davis, Brad Barron, and the boys here.
I love it.
Which was awesome. They got 3 out of the 4 right. They guessed. And so you're probably thinking, well, what is this guy going to give? I'm going to give $1,000.
Oh my God, you're the best. Yes, that was great.
Good
Okay.
afternoon,
Hello.
President Matt and everyone. This is Tu Do. I'd like to ring the bell once to make this announcement that hopefully benefits this club somewhat. My nonprofit organization, Vietnam Help, is hosting a fundraising art exhibition from April 3rd to April 24th at the Galate Gallery. The address is 320 South First Street, San Jose. We are very lucky to have received many, many beautiful oil paintings from a generous donor who purchased the paintings to support the artists in Vietnam. And as the executive director of Vietnam Help and an active member of this club, I wish the exhibition will bring benefits to both organizations. So I invite you to visit the gallery, and if you decide to buy a painting, VN Help would share 10% of the purchase price to this club. The price ranges from $200 to $2,000. So the gallery opens Thursday, Friday from 12 to 7, and on Saturday from 12 to 5.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to make sure we get to our speaker on time, so if we can do it in 30 seconds for this whole combo, rapid fire, go for it. If not, we can do it next month. Take it away, Stephanie, if you got it.
Stephanie Liggsay, proud to announce that my daughter is graduating from University of Redlands next Friday with a degree in psychology.
That is fabulous. Okay. One more. Here we go. Megan, you got 10 seconds. Sorry.
The Environmental Sustainability Committee is doing an Earth Day celebration of sorts next week at our meeting, so please check it out. If you have an electric vehicle, bring it to the 7th floor. We're doing a bit of an EV display, and there'll be some educational materials on transportation. Rod Deardan Sr. was the founder of our committee, and I know it would be very important to him to have all of your support. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, let's get on to the main event here.
Sorry, Johnny Camus. My son is leaving the nest to go to a new job with IBM in Austin, Texas next month. Just want to ring the bell for him.
Wonderful. Great news. Thank you for doing that. Okay, we're going to get to the main event here. Our speaker, we'll come back to some of these things next week, is Larry Stone. But today we've got Gordon Yamate, and introducing him is going to be Steve Preminger. Show some love to Steve, please.
Gordon Yamate was born in San Jose Hospital and then later moved to Saratoga. When he was at Saratoga High School, he remembers a number of fathers of his classmates leaving their jobs with large companies leaving large companies and starting up their own companies, later realizing that they were the founders of Silicon Valley enterprises like Amdahl, Stuttgart Associates, and other pioneering tech companies. After law school and as a young lawyer, Gordon started practicing with Rufo, Ferrari, and McNeil. His father, Henry, was a member of San Jose Rotary, but his real introduction to the Rotary community was attending the annual barbecue where he remembers Al Rufo grilling his homemade Italian sausages. As a lawyer in private practice, Gordon represented industry legends like Steve Jobs and Steve Perlman before leaving to join an internet startup that went public in 1999. After his legal career, Gordon has engaged in philanthropy following his professional career as a corporate partner. He currently chairs the Town of Los Gatos Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission. In addition, he loves teaching corporate governance as an adjunct lecturer in law at Santa Clara University Law School, where he has served on the boards of numerous nonprofit organizations, including the Silicon Valley Community Foundation and the National Conference of Christians and Jews. He is interested in using the arts to address issues of racism and to create relationships and opportunities that will promote understanding and tolerance amongst diverse and polarized communities. Gordon Yamate.
First, thank you, Steve, for the invitation to speak. Steve asked me to talk about a moment in history based on an ALF presentation that I had organized with several local historians. I hope I can do justice to what we learned, particularly as I continue to sort out the significance and lessons of what happened at Sharp Park and its relevance to what is going on today. A couple of years ago, I met Father John Pedigo at our speaker's table on what you might call a field trip visit to the Angel Island Immigration Center. And during that visit, he took me aside and said, "Did you know that there was a detention center in Pacifica during World War II?" I was familiar with the Tanforan Assembly Center in San Bruno that incarcerated some 10,000 Japanese Americans, but Pacifica? Father John, whose mother was Japanese American, had grown up and still lives in the family home in Pacifica and knows the history of Pacifica. I was intrigued that Pacifica had any relationship to the detention, removal, and incarceration of over 125,000 Japanese Americans from the West Coast in the spring of 1942. Father John introduced me to some historians working on signage to preserve the memory of what happened at the Sharp Park Detention Center, which also included the processing and incarceration of people of Italian and German descent. I knew that Italians and Germans had been caught in the wartime hysteria, but little exists about what happened to them. So I was naturally curious to learn more about what happened at Sharp Park. I suspect that most people in the room know of Sharp Park because of the Sharp Park golf course. It's one of the world's finest and most beautiful municipal public golf courses, designed by the preeminent architect Alistair Mackenzie, who also designed the Augusta National and Cypress Point, Pebble Beach. On the Sharp Park golf course, as you head out from the ocean and sand dunes towards the mountains to the holes adjacent to Rifle Range Road, you'll come across what is now the San Francisco Archery Club. And that club sits on the land that formerly housed the Sharp Park Detention Center. Not long after the bombing of Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, the Sharp Park Detention Center operated as an enemy alien internment camp that is almost entirely forgotten today. It actually doesn't even physically exist. It's been dismantled, and I think some parts of it may be evident locally, but for the most part, it is completely gone. The local historians emphasized that we needed to start with key terminology. The term enemy aliens is simple enough to understand. Enemies were people who came from countries with whom the U.S. was at war, a war either declared by Congress against a foreign nation or when a foreign government threatens or undertakes an invasion or predatory incursion against U.S. territories. Aliens meant anyone who wasn't a U.S. citizen. Under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, the president has the authority to detain and/or deport natives and citizens of an enemy nation. It permits the president to target those immigrants without a hearing and based only on their country of origin or citizenship. In 1942, enemy aliens on the West Coast were subject to observing a 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. curfew in a 5-mile travel radius from their homes, registering with the Immigration and Naturalization Service, carrying pink ID cards, and surrendering firearms, shortwave radios, cameras, and other contraband that could be used to aid the enemy. Families of Italian descent along the coast, particularly those living west of Highway 1, were prohibited from farming and living there, although those east of Highway 1 were able to continue farming with some restrictions. Enemy aliens who violated these restrictions were arrested and incarcerated at Sharp Park. Some were detained for no reason at all. Sharp Park served primarily as a processing center for enemy aliens, handling the overflow from the Immigration and Naturalization Service station at 801 Silver Avenue in San Francisco and the Angel Island Immigration Center. The detention center initially held 450 incarcerees and was later expanded to hold as many as 1,200, although one incarceree observed that during his 6-week stay, there weren't more than 500 prisoners. Between 1942 and 1944, the detention center housed a total of approximately 2,500 incarcerees of Italian, German, and Japanese descent. Italian and German Americans incarcerated at Sharp Park were mostly either older, first-generation immigrants who never naturalized, although many did, or younger, recent immigrants, all of whom likely had limited English language skills. The stories that we heard about these incarcerees were reminiscent of the experiences of Japanese Americans. Italian farmers were unable to deliver artichokes from their Pacifica farms to the San Francisco produce market due to the 5-mile travel ban restriction. Individuals were arrested and incarcerated for minor curfew violations. One incident involved a farmer who was delayed in getting home from delivering tomatoes. Another was out past curfew with his girlfriend. Being incarcerated at Sharp Park without the right to contest the detention ended up separating and creating hardship for family members. And then looking west from the prison grounds, there must have been a certain irony for Sharp Park incarcerees who could actually see perhaps neighbors and fellow community members playing golf nearby. You can see the holes for the golf course that are just beyond the guard tower there. We learned of numerous instances of Italian incarcerees becoming depressed and later committing suicide. One local resident who visited an Italian friend held at Sharp Park noted, "It does something to you. It's just like looking at animals caged in a pen." We'd visit with him and then come back and report on his condition to his folks. When I left, there he was on the other side of the wire. You could just read his thoughts. Why? Other Italian Americans said they felt humiliated and grew up discouraged from speaking Italian or having pride in their heritage. Most lived the rest of their lives preferring to not discuss what they had endured as enemy aliens. I can attest that many, if not most, Japanese Americans felt similarly. Few, if any, spoke about their experiences in the concentration camps until the redress movement and the signing of the reparations law and formal government apology, all occurring in the 1980s. The local newspaper, the Sharp Park Breakers, which served Pacifica at the time of the detention center's opening, expressed strong approval of the curfew and other enemy alien restrictions. The newspaper took the position that only citizen labor should be used for the artichoke fields in the restricted zone. It proclaimed that at this time, we say an alien is an alien regardless of good intentions. If this country is good enough to live in for years and years, it is deserving of being supported by citizenship and loyalty. That argument seems a bit specious and suspect. While there were no Japanese Americans living in Pacifica at the time, Japanese-born immigrants were prohibited by law from seeking citizenship through naturalization until 1952, despite their demonstrated loyalty to the U.S. Local Pacifica residents knew about Sharp Park but said little about it. People lived in fear of wartime hysteria and did not speak out, assuming that this was the price of showing loyalty and supporting the war effort. I can't help but feel that those Italian and German Americans with family members at Sharp Park did not want to draw attention to themselves. For them and Japanese Americans alike, it was also the shame and stigma of being imprisoned solely on the basis of their national origin. One thing that struck me about the Sharp Park facilities were that they were physically much more accommodating than the assembly centers and concentration camps that ultimately housed Japanese Americans. Prior to serving as a detention center, Sharp Park was originally built to house indigents from San Francisco during the Depression. Less than 10 miles away from Sharp Park, the Tanforan Assembly Center in San Bruno, where many Japanese American families from the Bay Area and transferees from Sharp Park were incarcerated, provided a sharp contrast from Sharp Park. Tanforan was a recently closed horse track. Stables were hastily converted into living spaces with freshly painted walls over manure and insects that did not adequately hide the smell or filth. Tanforan and the Santa Anita racetrack in Southern California, where many Japanese families from the Santa Clara Valley were transported, were among the largest evacuation assembly centers on the West Coast. Living conditions at Santa Anita racetrack were no better than Tanforan, where both offered hastily constructed communal toilet facilities that lacked privacy and sanitary safeguards. People waited in long lines to eat in crowded communal dining rooms in multiple shifts. They had to eat quickly before the next meal shift started to ensure that all incarcerees were fed. The centers were intended to be temporary, but they operated for 3 to 4 months while concentration camps purposely located in desolate and remote areas were being constructed. Places like deserts in Utah, Wyoming, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, and New Mexico, and swamps in Arkansas, including the 2 camps located in California, Manzanar and Tule Lake. Japanese American families from specific cities did not necessarily end up together in the same concentration camp, being purposely broken up so that pre-existing family relationships and communities would not remain intact, presumably for security reasons. So why the differences in treatment and conditions? German and Italian Americans at the time constituted the 2 largest foreign-born populations in the U.S. More than 1.2 million born in Germany, another 5 million with 2 German-born parents, and an even greater Italian population resulting from the more than 2.4 million Italians who immigrated to this country between 1901 and 1920. As a practical matter, the War Relocation Authority did not have the physical means nor the resources and capacity to identify and incarcerate these populations. Under the Enemy Alien Act of 1798, justice officials opted in 1942 for a nationwide policy of selective internment of approximately 11,500 people of German ancestry and 3,000 people of Italian ancestry, which included American citizens. The key here is the term selective. INS and Justice Department officials focused on people known to have highly suspicious or questionable backgrounds and affiliations, or to have known violations of law. Selective internment was no guarantee that the government got it right. In one instance, a German American was incarcerated for having received an official suspicious communication from the German government, which later turned out to be a notification that the recipient's relative had died. The action taken with respect to Japanese Americans was different. Under the Alien Enemies Act and the authority of Executive Order 9066, the Justice Department dispensed with selective internment and ordered the mass detention, removal, and incarceration of over 125,000 persons of Japanese ancestry living on the West Coast. Historians blame the lack of assimilation of Japanese Americans when they were ordered into the camps that made them more susceptible of being considered as other compared to immigrants from Europe. The Japanese American community did not have the political capital to change public opinion, defend their constitutional rights, or even enlist the help of sympathetic lawmakers or traditional social justice organizations. Only a few attorneys volunteered to help and take a small number of cases challenging the government's actions. The lack of assimilation was due in part because immigrants from Japan could not, by law, become citizens. But most importantly, as Judge Erica Yu, who attended the ALF program, explained, we wear our identity on our faces. Of the 125,000 persons of Japanese ancestry incarcerated in American concentration camps, roughly 2/3 were American citizens by birthright. Those sent to concentration camps number close to an estimated 95% of Japanese Americans living on the mainland. Deep-rooted racism against Japanese Americans was accompanied by xenophobia. Yellow peril propaganda and journalism grew in the years prior to Pearl Harbor, reaching its peak during the incarceration years, but continuing as internees were allowed to return to the West Coast. That racial prejudice was inflamed by wartime fear and hysteria, fueled by envy and the inability to compete fairly in business, as noted by the success of many Japanese Americans in the agricultural and fishing industries. So why is any of this relevant today? Or more importantly, how does what happened to Italian, German, and Japanese Americans during World War II inform or guide us in thinking about what was going on or what's going on in our country today? One obvious question is, who are enemy aliens today? Congress has not declared a war since World War II, but the current administration has invoked the Enemy Aliens Act by declaring that the unauthorized entry of migrants into the U.S. constitutes an invasion, thereby giving the administration the right to detain and deport immigrants en masse without due process. That makes their job easier and allows for extreme actions against all immigrants. At least one federal court has held that undocumented migrants coming into this country do not constitute the invasion or predatory incursion against the U.S. territory by a foreign nation required under the Alien Enemies Act. The act is clear and means what it says and has never been interpreted otherwise. It applies to declared wars or attacks or imminent attacks on Americans by foreign nations. On appeal, the Supreme Court dodged this question and allowed the administration to deport alleged members of a Venezuelan gang as long as it followed specified procedural safeguards. With numerous court cases pending that challenge the enemy aliens interpretation by the current administration, I expect that this issue will fester and eventually return to the Supreme Court. When I thought about what happened to Italian, German, and Japanese Americans during World War II and observed what is going on in this country today, I struggled with the unenviable truth that despite learning lessons from history, history continues to repeat itself and we make the same mistakes. I question whether and how the wisdom propounded by historians, scholars, lawyers, academicians, and statesmen can have any impact or relevance in a country that is so politically divided that what constitutes carefully and meticulously researched facts, thoughtful and well-considered points of view, or critical thinking and reasoned analysis is based on your political allegiance. Surprisingly, the history of what happened to Italian, German, and Japanese Americans during World War II is not taught today in American high schools, with very few exceptions. Given the efforts by the current administration to erase history that is not complementary or consistent with their point of view, there is frustration and futility in attempting to educate Americans about what happened. Unfortunately, this is the state of our republic, and it is up to us to decide whether we want to fix it or not. I want to leave you with one uplifting story. I recently met a gentleman who heads a charitable foundation established by his relatives. Mark Sugimoto told me about his grandfather's family that farmed property in El Centro, California before the war. Like me, Mark was not born until years after World War II ended, but Mark remembered what his father had experienced as a young man during that time. During the years that the Sugimoto family was interned in Poston, Arizona, the family worried about their future, the lost educational opportunities for their sons, meaning Mark's father and his brothers, and their farm. Many interned Japanese families lost everything. Their homes and farms were repossessed when they couldn't pay the mortgage, or land was seized outright via eminent domain. The Sugimotos fared somewhat better. A neighbor, Percy Schoonmaker, farmed the Sugimotos' land and turned the money over to them. He also made sure no one seized the land or stole the family's hard-earned farm equipment. Mark remembered his father taking his family to visit Mr. Schoonmaker in the 1970s. Mark recalled, "I don't think I appreciated it at the time the way I do now, but my dad wanted to make sure we met him. My father wanted us to understand what this man had done for our family." Mark and his siblings were pretty young, and he remembers how his father lined them up and told them each to thank Mr. Schoonmaker. Mark and his siblings dutifully and solemnly did so, albeit somewhat nervously and not really understanding completely why they were thanking him. But Mark remembers that Mr. Schoonmaker was just a simple guy. He was just a farmer, but he said to them, "I knew you and your family weren't the enemy." Thank you, and I will entertain questions.
Thank you very much. We have time for a few quick questions. We have the traveling mics. We'll start on this side over here. Anyone with any questions? Gloria, right over here. Gloria, right here.
Testing, testing. Thanks for a great presentation. So I once was chatting with Norm Mineta privately. I think he was at an event at our house, and I asked him, "Why did you get into politics?" And he said that he wanted to be sure that there was a voice at the table, in Congress especially, that would represent the views of minority communities like the Japanese American community and the Asian American community in general, so that something like this could never happen again, because there were no voices at the table. I think Rod had a little bit of that too. His family experienced discrimination during World War II as an Italian American, and you all know he changed his name. His father changed his name because of that. I feel, and I know Rod felt, it's extremely important to support diverse political candidates, so there are voices at the table that will even out and avoid particular targeting of particular communities unjustly. Thanks.
One quick question right over here. Mary, I think we got one right up front here.
It wasn't necessarily a question, but I read a book where the Japanese American soldiers who were in World War II, they sent them on the front lines so they would get, and then my mother's cousin, Italian, I always thought of him as a hero because he went up first too, but now I'm thinking that they were, you know, going after him just like the Japanese American, Italian.
Thank you. Gordon, I was looking forward to your talk, and you did not disappoint. Folks, Gordon Yamate, please. Okay, folks. We've got a downtown happy hour coming up. I think it's, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow. So if you can make that, that'll be great. And next week we have Larry Stone. And with that, I'm going to send you out with some music. I've tried not to repeat artists, but this is a really good song, so I'm going to have to repeat. We've got Toes by Zach Brown. And with that, our meeting is a wrap. Thank you, folks.